So another day, and I was having fun on Twitter a few minutes ago when I realized that I needed to practice now if I was going to have it happen today. So I have about 40 minutes to practice, and I'm going to do it in a small chunk. I'm going to shoot for about 15 minutes at a time. So I'll do one, and then I'll take a break, and then I'll do another one. So I think first I'm going to start by reviewing what I did yesterday. So I'm just going to go through spots and work on what I sort of worked out in my head. So that was the first chunk that I worked on yesterday, I think. And that went pretty well. There are a few things that weren't so clear, so I'm going to review them right now. The first, I wasn't exactly sure. I had to look at the music to know which note my left hand was going to play. So now I see that it's an F, which is an octave apart from my right hand. So what I'm going to do to simplify, because this is at a line change, I'm going to just tell myself to focus on the right hand and then mirror it in my left hand. Sounds crazy. Sounds like a lot of work, but for me, I think that's going to help. We'll try it. So F in the right hand, F. Right. I tend to get a little caught up at line changes, so I have developed some techniques to get myself to do those smoothly. So I'm going to do that again with the same tactic. Great. Last time, just to make sure it's good. Good. Now the next thing that caught me off guard was the tricky chords that I had started with yesterday. So I'm going to do it hands separately again to remind myself of the narration I had created in my head. So left hand first. E flat stays the same. Now all different notes. Now B flat, A flat stay the same. Okay, I'm going to do that again, but not sustaining those similar notes. And actually, I'm going to repeat those several times. Okay, I'm going to go on to the next chord. E flat stays the same, all notes different. E flat, A flat stays the same. I'm going to speed that up. But I only speed it up as much as I can keep up with my narration in my head. Okay, not bad. Right hand, same tactic. F and E flat stay the same. My right, one of my fingers that was supposed to stay the same was very hesitant, so I'll do that again. Middle two stay the same. Good, again. Now all notes different. Now I'm going to add, combine both hands a little slower. faster. Okay, I'm going to back up to work it into the rest of that passage. So think ahead. Yay, again. With that time, I realized that I'm really tensing up for some reason. Well, I know why, because it's hard, and it scares me a little bit. So I'm going to do that again, but this time really be conscious, now that I know the notes better, of making sure that my body and my brain are both relaxed. Much better. And another thing I was doing was really listening musically to what was going on, because that inspires me to be relaxed and not be so focused on the difficulty. So go back to that beginning of that whole passage, work it all together, make sure it's intact. Good. I extended it into the next section a little bit, again, to make sure that I'm working it in context and that there won't be an issue in the transition. All right, one thing I should say is before those tricky chords that I've been working on, the measure before that is really quite simple. There's just a repeated chord in the right hand, and the left hand is a sustained chord. So as I'm practicing it, I'm building in, making sure that I'm thinking ahead in that easy measure to what's coming up, which is trickier. But I really have to practice that so it becomes automatic. So, for instance, I'm thinking ahead to what I'm going to need to do. So it's not like I get to that tricky passage and I freeze up. So anyway, all right, so that's one review. Now I'm going to go to another passage that I practiced yesterday. Okay, that went pretty well. I think I'm going to now try to do it a little bit faster to test and see how it's going. I can tell you my brain was freezing up several times in there. So that tells me I probably can't practice it up to tempo too much at this point, just every now and then. So I'm going to go ahead and work it backwards really quickly, the way I practiced it yesterday, just to reinforce what I was doing. Yeah, that chord scares me because it's ugly. But I have have to get so that I'm not thinking of it as ugly, but as cool. So it's like an F major, F minor chord. Okay, not bad. Back up. Good. One more. Great. Okay, so that went quite well. Now, I think what I'm going to do, because this is a cool technique that I read about from the Bulletproof Musician, is I'm going to go back to that first passage I reviewed to see where it is, and then go back to the one I just did. So I'm switching up about, I think it's called blocked practice. So, see how it goes. Okay, that wasn't bad. One more time. Okay, something funky happened in that go around. I think it was a concentration lapse right before the hard chords. Instead of thinking ahead, I spaced out. Life happens. So I'm going to do that again. That was much better. And I don't know if you could tell, but what I did is right before that, those tricky chords, and before the easy measure that precedes it, I took a little extra time. I stretched time a little bit to make sure that my brain was not seizing up or my body wasn't seizing up, and that I was reminding myself, think ahead, you can do this nasty little measure. So much of it is psychological, truly. All right, now I'm going to bounce back to the passage I did previously. Yay! So the reason I do this, this blocked practice, is because when you practice a passage over and over again, right after one another, it's easy to just get in the groove, so it's obvious that it's going to get better. But it's a really good way of testing how secure it is to do something else, then come back to that passage you worked so hard at. That will really reveal where you are with the passage. So now, I don't want to spend any more time. It's easy for me to get obsessive. I think most of us feel that way. But I don't have time to be obsessive today. So I'm going to do one quick check on something that I marked with an arrow yesterday, and then I'm going to move on to something new. So it's this Very simple thing, but for some reason, it always throws me off. Because in the score on this high note, all of a sudden it looks like it should be somewhere much higher than where I already am. But the fact of the matter is my hand just needs to stay in the same position. So I might even just, I think I'm going to write in the score, stay. And then the left hand, and the left hand stays too. That's tricky. A lot of times that's how I practice trills. I'm trying to train my ear to hear the first note of each twosome. And I hear the rhythm of it. And then I even hear a crescendo. So I'm not actually concentrating on playing all these notes really fast and together. It's just almost too fast. Okay, it's the tail of it that's getting me. Oh, one, and two. Eric is going too quickly. That might help. Instead of every 2 notes, I'm going to try every 4 notes. Or 8. Yeah, see, even my train of thought is showing me that I don't know exactly what I'm doing. I'm kind of guessing. So, trying to be mean to myself or demanding of myself. 1, 2. It's in 3. See, there's my problem. Oh my goodness, I'm so confused now. Okay, so when I get really confused like this, I take my hands off the keyboard and try to understand it in my head first. So I think those are actually 16th notes that I'm ending up doing with the trill. 1, 2. Yep. I still need to figure this out, and I think I'm actually going to figure it out a little bit later today, away from the keyboard. I'm having a brain block, and instead of beating myself up over it and getting frustrated, I'm just going to walk away from it a little bit. All right. Another passage I'm going to check on from yesterday, because it was a little bit more challenging, is from Jason Robert Brown's Still Hurting. It's the interlude. And I'm going to go backwards through the chunks that I did yesterday. Yesterday I worked a lot on making sure that my elbow was guiding jumps instead of stretching or doing weird things. I'm going to stop here for a sec, but before I take a break, I would just say and reveal that today I can tell that my brain isn't functioning as well as it was yesterday. So instead of beating myself up, which I'm tempted to do, I'm just being careful that I'm not doing anything too quickly, and that I do types of practice that will meet me where I am right now and not be critical of myself that I can't do fast practicing today. It's okay. It might even be different in another 10 minutes. So there's the first little practice session. I'll be right back.